Salewa makes some of our best-selling footwear, from wildfires in the approach shoes to Alp Trainer Mid for sort of general hiking, and these are brilliant Ortles Ascent Mids. So today I'm going to talk you through this amazing B2 rated boot, which is for the hills and the mountains and things. But firstly, I'd just like to let you know why I think Salewa is such a good selling brand for us. And it's got to be, simple answer, comfort. All of those shoes I just mentioned and boots just have so much flexibility on fit that it seems to fit nearly anybody, whether you're a wide foot or a narrow foot, things like that. They're just brilliant. And this is no different. So Salewa's Ortles range is basically mountain stuff, whether it's sort of quick and light or a bit burlier and a bit more durable. And the Ortles Ascent Mid, which is this one, is a really good durable all-rounder. These are perfect for sort of winter walking and mountaineering and those easier climbs as well, and really good for sort of alpine, you know, some of the 4,000 meter peaks, particularly in summer, the easier grade stuff where you're more walking and mountaineering than actually climbing. So here in the UK, we love talking about B ratings, B1, B2, B3. So this is a B2 boot. That means it takes a C2 crampon. What that generally means is B2 means it's quite stiff, so it'll hold a crampon really well and give you lots of support, and it'll take what's called a semi-automatic crampon, so sort of step in at the front, but it's got the heel clip at the back. That allows extra stability if you are climbing or front pointing up a gully, but also enough flex if you want to walk around in them and not feel like you're in those solid ice climbing B3 boots all day, which climb really nicely, but they're not that nice to walk in. So a great middle ground. We'll be making at some point a full video about B2, B3, etc., and same with the crampons. So check that out soon. So I'll start by mentioning the more obvious features of this boot, and then I'll go into the nitty-gritty details which make it so special. So B2 boot, like I said, nice and durable, quite a stiff midsole. It's got a leather upper and a Gore-Tex lining, so keep you dry and it'll keep you warm. It's also very durable from this extra large rand that you've got around here. So if you are scrambling, maybe in the summer months as well, let's be honest, UK, you're probably going to not get too hot in these because it's always cold and damp. And that'll give you a lot of protection because you are kicking rocks quite often. So they're really, really durable. That leather upper, again, helps shed water, give extra durability, but you've got the reassurance from the Gore-Tex lining underneath there, so you won't get wet feet in these. They feature a really good Vibram outsole, which is a great combination between stickiness and durability. So if you are scrambling on the rocks, got a little bit of a climbing zone here, which I've been in today and they feel great actually. And so you're really secure. And also on the mud, they feel incredible as well, similar to snow, a lot of tread. But what's quite a clever design is that the snow and the mud will drop out of there once you raise your foot up again. And something we're a big fan of in the UK, you've got a real good heel stop here as well, which helps you when descending down a slope, you don't just skid off into the distance. And as you can notice, a little wedge at the back if you are putting that crampon on the back just to clip it in and hold it nice and secure. So I feel I had to mention this because it's got a carbon loaded fiberglass nylon insole. Sounds a bit of a mouthful, but basically that adds the stiffness and durability and it won't sort of give over time. A bit long-winded, but pretty cool. So lacing, that seems like a boring thing to talk about, but actually it's really important on this boot and it's really well thought out. So the laces are nice and durable and round, they run really smoothly through these eyelets. But what becomes interesting is the amount of adjustability you've got here. So firstly, it comes really far down the boot, which means you can actually get it really nice and tight, especially if you've got a really slim foot, all the way down to the toe box. And then comes the interesting bit. At about the third eyelet here, you can see they've got what's called like a 3D little clip. So that eyelet, you can adjust the tension differently to the front of the boot to further up. It's like a locking cleat. So if you want it loose here and then hold your heel in nice and tight, which works really well for me, that's perfect. But if you want to pull it tighter, you can do so. Moving up the boot, a couple more eyelets further up, you get to this one here, which you can see says 3F on it. They've used this 3F system on a few of their shoes with great success. Now what the 3F is it's this steel sort of cable that goes all the way around the boot. You can see it sort of slingshots around the back of the heel there. So when you pull this one in really tight, it can really clamp you nicely into the heel. Because one of the major problems with sort of mountaineering boots, particularly the stiffer models, is heel lift. It's a really stiff boot, so you're not getting loads of flex. Your heel can lift out sometimes. That really pins it in there nicely. And even straight out of the box, I found no heel lift at all with these and really, really comfortable. So that seems to work really well. And then of course, after that, a couple more eyelets that are nice and open, then you loop them round, get it nice and tight, lock yourself into the heel and the ankle. Sort of moves me on to the ankle actually, because that's nice and padded, and I'd say there's enough flexibility in there that you feel nimble and you can walk around with comfort, but at the same time quite solid if you were climbing in them, giving you stability while, you know, you don't want to roll your ankle and things like that. A little bit of rubberized at the back here, which stops you sliding out, which is really comfortable as well. And I love a big loop at the back here. One, you can clip it to your harness if you have to, but two, just pulling your foot in there, that works really well. And then while we're looking at that whole area, one of the most interesting things about this boot is actually the tongue. So it's sort of 2 layers, this tongue. You've got this outer synthetic fiber layer here, which is like a soft shell. And that allows you to pull those laces in really nice and tight. Because if it was full leather, you just don't have that adjustability here, so you can get it snug. So it allows you to pull in tight. But underneath that, you have got another tongue, the proper padded tongue with the leather upper on it. So why are there 2 different tongues? It's quite interesting. So there's a bit of a gap between them. Firstly, if you don't do anything, that feels really comfy, because sometimes this area particularly can be quite painful when you pull laces too tight and you get a pressure point, so it spreads the load really nicely. But also that's on a Velcro tab, so you can undo it, slide it up and down. That allows you to change the volume of the fit. If you put it a bit further forward, it will take some volume out of here. Pull it right up, it will let a bit more volume down there. And it feels really comfortable doing that. And that just allows you to get the perfect fit just for you. You can even find, like, if you just change socks or something like that, summer you might have thin socks, in winter you might have big bulky socks, and you want to still use this boot, you can adjust it accordingly. I've also found that incredibly useful for a couple of customers as well who have really low volume feet. So while I'm on the volume, I think this is quite high volume. I've got a broad foot and I've got, you know, I like having a big toe box, which works really well. However, we still got these to work for those low volume feet. You could adjust the tongue, you could do the laces, insoles, which I'll get to in a minute, but also that little gap in the middle there allowed me to put a volume reducer between the 2 tongues, stayed in place and took even more volume out of the boot. That worked perfectly. So while we're talking about fit, I'll move on to the insole, because again, the insole is incredibly adjustable. It comes with their multi-fit footbed, MFF, that's what it says here. So that's really quite interesting. Well, it's brushed, so it feels warm and comfortable against the foot, but it's sort of 2 insoles. You get to remove a Velcro tab, which sticks to a larger insole, and use the larger liner or the smaller liner depending on your volume. So if you add up the versatility of the insole, the movable tongue, the adjustable lacing system, I mean, it's got to be the most accessible boot for nearly any foot shape. I remember last winter these got reviewed by UK Climbing, and Dan Bailey, who lives up in Scotland, he gave them a great test. And the review that he came back with was amazing. He's got loads of B2 boots and he's decided these are the comfiest he's ever used and it's going to be his main boot going forward. And I think I'm feeling the same. I recently fitted a customer with a pair of these and they came in to try a load of B2 boots on, put these on first and went, I'm not trying any others on, these are perfect, thank you very much. So that was easy. So these are incredibly comfortable to wear and really durable, but obviously that comes with a little bit of weight. They're hardly the heaviest on the market, but they're not the lightest either. I think they're about 1,800 grams a pair, depending on your size, go up and down a little bit. If you wanted something a little bit lighter for summer months where you might clip it to your harness, alpine climbing and wearing your rock boots, they also do a lighter version called the Ortles Light Mid. So that's a little bit more flexible, still incredibly stiff though, but very light, and packs really small. I like that because you could shove it inside your rucksack. Obviously much less insulation on those, so do be aware of that if you're trying those out. Well, maybe we'll do a full review on those at some point as well. Just another quick mention on the waterproof membrane. So it's Gore-Tex of course, but it's a Gore-Tex Comfort Fit insulated membrane. So basically it's an extra insulated membrane compared to a normal Gore-Tex boot. This makes it incredibly warm in those winter months. So what an amazing boot that seems to fit nearly anybody. It's obviously built for winter months, but I actually don't think it feels out of place just stomping around the Peak District in it, especially when you're heavy like me and like a stiff boot. So I look forward to using this in some snow because it's not really been a winter for that. So hopefully you found this review useful. Obviously bear in mind footwear, you've got to come and try it yourself, don't take my word for it. But if you thought it was a good review, why don't you subscribe to our YouTube channel so you can check out all our reviews.